We'll bring in Benny Johnson now, host of Benny Reports, joining us to talk a little bit about CPAC. Good to see you. You know, this has really kicked off with a bang. These speakers are excited. You saw a lot of vibrancy. You saw a lot of enthusiasm from Senator Ted Cruz, I think, is the biggest one that comes to mind.
Yes.
Give me a wrap of what you've seen so far at CPAC, Benny.
Yeah, so the CPAC this morning was kicked off by Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is as close as you get to a rock star right now in the Republican Party. He is doing everything right. If there's a thing you can do right, he's doing it. When it comes to the coronavirus lockdowns, whether it comes to going after big tech for censorship, whether it comes to making sure that his economy has been open, that he's respected business owners, and that he's respected the people of his state during this pandemic. The governor has been killing it, and he went out today on stage, and Ron DeSantis gave a spike of the football that Rob Gronkowski would have respected, that Tom Brady would have nodded at. This was Ron DeSantis saying, "Welcome to Florida. CPAC traditionally is in Washington, D.C., where I live, but Washington, D.C. is shut down. You can't have gatherings here. There's a massive wall in the middle of D.C. You wouldn't even be able to visit the Capitol if you wanted to." So CPAC has moved to Florida. Ron DeSantis said, this is exactly why. We're a free state. We're going after big tech censorship. You can gather here. You can have events here. Turning Point USA, a company which I work for, also has our big events in Florida for these exact reasons. And so Ron DeSantis gave a fire speech. Ted Cruz then followed up with just if Ron DeSantis is spiking the football, Ted Cruz is the nuclear football. Ted Cruz gave what I saw to be the rally call for conservatives going forward in an after Trump presidency, a Trump first term done. This is the call for Republicans to move forward and to fight in the culture wars and to fight the battles that we have to come. Ted Cruz, a barn burner. The microphone was on fire. The stage was on fire. The microphone was melting. It was an incredible, incredible call for Republicans to rally and to fight the socialists that are at our doors.
All right. You're taking us through the whole game here. Goodness. But you know what? It's only the first day. So
I'm excited.
I know. I can sense that excitement.
It's a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting because it does sort of give you a preview of what the priorities are and top concerns are for Republicans. And also as you get closer and closer to 2022, 2024, might give you insight too as to who could emerge within the party as a potential candidate. Have you seen that based on some of the speeches we've heard so far?
It's amazing to see who is jockeying for 2024 and how much the global pandemic and the coronavirus crisis response has changed that field up. So you have Kristi Noem, for instance, from South Dakota, who would normally be like, I don't know, South Dakota governor, have I ever heard of her? But she has become a rock star throughout the coronavirus pandemic and has become a real hero to the movement and the party. And then when D.C. shut down the fireworks and 4th of July, she said, come to Mount Rushmore. And that was an advertisement for her state and potentially for her candidacy. Ron DeSantis obviously has been a wonderful, wonderful bulwark and a fighter during all of this. And Ted Cruz himself has run for president before and is doing a lot for the movement, has been a rock solid ally to the president. Also, Ron Paul. Ron Paul in the Senate has been doing, the Lord's work when it comes to pushing back against the left in that institution. I'm sorry, Rand Paul, my mistake.
Yeah.
Ron, his father, also awesome. I mean, I would be okay with either of them running for president. And then, of course, you have Don Jr., right? You have to go back to the Trump family, maybe Trump himself. Polls show that the president is still wildly, aggressively popular and in complete control of the grassroots. So that's kind of the field as it's shaping up now.
You know, Newsmax is going to carry, obviously, the former president's speech on Sunday at 3:30, 3:40 in the afternoon here. What are you expecting to hear from him? There's a lot of talk about a potential announcement of a run, but most importantly, I think the topics that he touches on. What do you think you're going to see from the former president? And is it going to be like his MAGA rallies, or will this be a different Trump or a Trump 2.0?
Yeah, Trump's very much like Rocky. He's very much wants to be the underdog. It's strange. Like when the dog catches the car and gets the tire, what does it do with it? It's been so interesting watching Trump as an executive and as an administrator in the swamp. It's much more natural to see Trump on the defense, throwing haymakers, fighting, punching. And that's what he did in 2016. And now he's back at that position. Having an enemy to fight against is Trump's specialty. He's the fighter in the ring who comes in as an underdog, and he loves throwing haymakers at broken systems. And as you watch the Biden administration stumble, fumble, collapse right out of the door and do such egregiously unpopular and demonstrably foolish things like, for instance, launching missiles yesterday, or not getting $2,000 checks out, or canceling the Keystone XL pipeline, or keeping the schools closed. It's becoming so clear that Trump is going to have something to run against. And this time, he'll be able to say, I told you so.
But Benny, you aren't seeing these mean tweets coming from Joe Biden's Twitter account. I mean, I thought that's what everyone wanted, and all of our problems would be solved. It's an interesting contrast.
The tweets are gone, says the unemployed union worker who has to figure out how to provide for his family of four, right? But the mean tweets are gone. I'm sure that's exactly what school-aged children and parents are thinking across the states in America when their children are now behind 2 years of education. That's probably what they're thinking. They're saying, as they watch their dollars inflate, as they're watching us near $4 a gallon of gas, as their kids are still at home and their schools are locked down, and they're watching new foreign wars being started. That's what Americans are saying. Well, but there are no mean tweets anymore. So that's what this was all about. I'm sure that brings great comfort across the land.
Keeping on the topic of CPAC, it's important to note the folks that are not there, Vice President Mike Pence, former Vice President Mike Pence, Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney, others. Does that still shed light on this rift in the Republican Party when CPAC is supposed to be about unifying the party?
Not necessarily. Mike Pence gave a very polite response to declining to speak at CPAC. Maybe it just isn't in the cards. The vice president is starting a podcast and is still in the movement. He's still out and he's active. And maybe it's, perhaps it's just not in the cards. What would be deeply troubling would be if, like, the Lincoln Project or Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger were invited to speak at CPAC, right? So right now, that's the struggle. The struggle in the party is the corporatist Republican, silk-stocking corporatist Republican Party represented by Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney and Kinzinger, the forever war version of republicanism that you saw for the last 20 years that Donald Trump soundly defeated with the populist wing of the Republican Party. Those people view this as an opportunity to regain control and to regain influence. So that is the true schism. The schism isn't necessarily Mike Pence. This just doesn't work out for him this year. I think the schism is between the Cheney wing, the Kinzinger wing, the Mitt Romney wing, and having those people, the Lincoln Party wing of the party, the Lincoln Project wing of the party, having those people speak. And to my knowledge, they don't have a platform. Donald Trump is going to come in and commandingly claim that the grassroots is his, and now he has something to fight against, and let's continue the work that we started.
Speaking of platforms, there's actually been an effort by some congressional Democrats to cancel some news platforms, including Newsmax, which is obviously a source of information for some at home who feel as though, these certain stories are not covered. And we try our best to get that information out there. Benny, your thoughts on this action taken by American congressmen and women to cancel a news network?
Your emphasis is completely correct there. American. That's what's so important here. American. Why does this have this strange sense of familiarity? Because we've seen it before. Sorry, I'm not going to pound the desk. We've seen it before in dictatorships, in evil regimes around the world. This is the first thing that a dictator does or a communist regime does when they gain control. They silence their political opponents. They silence news. They control what information human beings can get, their people can get. You are seeing these are echoes of Ayatollah Iran or Xi Jinping's China. This is what they do. So here's my message to you people out there trying to ban Newsmax. If you are on that side, you're the baddie. You're the bad person. You're on the side of tyrants and dictators throughout history that have done this to their people.
I got to jump in. Benny Johnson, thanks so much. You can catch the Benny Report every Saturday, 7:30 evenings, right here on Newsmax.
Hi, Emma Rechenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.